Hello and welcome to SAP TechEd 2023. My name is Frank Jentsch. I'm leading the product SAP BTP ABAP environment. So this is a pretty long name, and therefore I would like to use this unofficial name, which is Steampunk. But again, Steampunk is nothing else than SAP BTP ABAP environment. So in this session, I would like to focus on the partner ecosystem. I would like to explain how partners can build apps for their customers. But before I show you how to process these apps, how to enable the build process, I would like to start with an overall positioning of Steampunk, and I would also like to explain one of these new features which we delivered in the last couple of months. So let's get started with the positioning. So maybe you heard about the birthday of ABAP. So in the meanwhile, ABAP is 40 years old, and there's a nice blog post and also a nice video which explains the history of ABAP. And in this blog post, it's also mentioned that today almost 80% of all business transactions worldwide are running on ABAP. And what we now offer with Steampunk is this kind of infrastructure also for our customers and partners, that they are able to build cloud-ready applications and extensions. So if it comes to the positioning with regard to our main target groups, we can see 4 different target groups. It starts with education. So we are offering several trial options, so free tier and shared trial. And with the trial options, you can get in touch with the ABAP Cloud ingredients of Steampunk. You can take a look into the newest and greatest features of the ABAP RESTful application programming model and all the different things. Customers and partners can also use it to create their first POCs before they start their real projects. So for customers, it's important to mention that customers want to develop and run loosely coupled side-by-side applications. For partners, our next important target groups, and also the main focus on this session, for partners it's a bit different, because partners want to develop and run multi-tenancy enabled SaaS applications. And last but not least, Steampunk is also used SAP internally. In the meanwhile, there are 5 products running on top of Steampunk which are on SAP's price list. Of course, we want to drive the conversion from free tier customers to standard customers, and with the products on top of Steampunk, we want to increase the number of indirect customers. Again, Steampunk is an official product. You can find all the information about the product on this SAP Discovery Center under Services. We are supporting all these different kind of licensing models. So it starts with free tier, of course, but we also support the Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement, pay-per-use for customers and partners, and as well for partners also the OEM model. So if I'm talking about licensing models, everything is around cost. I think that's clear. And with regard to costs, I have also good news, because we delivered end of August a new feature which is called System Hibernation. And with System Hibernation, customers and partners can stop their systems if they are not needed. So just imagine, in case of a 3-system landscape, development, test and productive, which is usually required to run a productive app, it would be possible to stop development and test system during the non-working hours, which reduces the cost significantly. We can say that in case of a stopped system, there are only remaining costs less than 5% compared to the costs of a running system. All right, now I would like to come to the main topic of this session, how partners are able to build apps. But before we go to the demo, I would like to explain a few considerations which are really important, because first of all, the partner need to decide the deployment model, how a product should be offered to the customer. So first of all, we have this so-called multi-tenancy SaaS solution. This option is available, I think 2 years. And this is where the existing partners are offering their solution. We had also TechEd sessions in the last years where partners explained their experiences, how to use Steampunk for that purpose. So I think that's basically clear. So for this option, the partner is offering a cloud service. The partner is fully responsible for the application monitoring, and the customer is just subscribing the application, and the customer is getting an own tenant within the central provider system. The partner is also responsible to take care on the infrastructure costs and this overall monitoring. It's very important to mention that although we are talking about a multi-tenancy solution, and I know a lot of ABAP experts are in this session are knowing that the development artifacts are not tenant aware, are not client aware. These artifacts are client independent, but we found a solution that even in case of a multi-tenancy solution, field extensibility and even custom logic with ABAP is possible in a multi-tenancy fashion. So this is already there today, but what we now also offer is a second option. A second option is called installable product. And this means that the partner is building, very similar to the on-prem world, an add-on, but we call it product. And a customer can decide to install this product into the own customer system. So it means the installation and also the patches and updates are completely in the responsibility of the customer. And if the customer is installing this product, he gets the source code in his own system. He can read the code, not change the code. It would be a modification. It's not allowed. But he could read the code, and he could even extend the code with developer extensibility. And there's also a very important use case for this option. It's about the SDK. So if a partner decides to develop an SDK, a customer could install this SDK into their own system, and the customer could make use of the released APIs of this SDK and could build their own custom code on top of this SDK. So again, the SDK scenario is yet another usage scenario for an installable product. Another important topic is the explanation of the different lifecycle management tools. So it's very important to use the right tool for the right purpose. I would like to start with ABAP Git. ABAP Git is a very well-established tool from the community, so it's nicely integrated into Steampunk, and it's the only one option to import objects from the on-premise system into a Steampunk system. But it is not recommended to transport objects from one Steampunk system to another one. For that purpose, we are offering the Manage Software Component app, which is part of the Steampunk delivery of the administration Fiori apps. And this app is intended to transport objects, more precisely of a software component, to transport from one system to another one, for example, from test to prod. And this is normally these tools are normally required only for customers. So it means for a customer everything is fine here, because a customer would only work within the own system landscape, within the own global account of the BTP, and for that purpose the Managed Software Component app is fine. But I explained in this other slide the second option, that also an SDK can be built by a partner and can be used by a customer. So this leads to a cross-global account deployment of the product, and for that purpose the landscape portal is required. So the landscape portal is used to build a product and also to install a product. The good thing is the landscape portal is part of the Steampunk license, is automatically delivered with Steampunk, and there's no additional license required. Two additional technical aspects. If it comes to the delivery of software, if you develop objects in ABAP, you need to develop these objects under a software component. So we are delivering a local software component. The name is set local, and the name means it's just for local development, and this would not allow to transport these objects to another system. Therefore, it's important to know that you need to start with a software component if you transport objects to another system. Another thing, and I would like to make it short, it's a bit more detailed explained here in this slide. I highly recommend that partners are using ABAP namespaces. So the usage of ABAP namespaces gives the partner the full flexibility to use all these explained lifecycle management tools. With that, I think we finished the toughest part of this session. This was the presentation, and now I would like to go into a live demo, and therefore I switch to my browser. So what I want to show you now is in this live demo how a partner builds a product. And with building a product does not mean that I would like to explain all the development activities. So this is what I would like to basically skip, but I would like to explain what is required to really build a product out of a developed application. So, but of course, I also need to explain a bit of what this application is used for, and therefore I would like to start from the very first beginning, and everything starts in the BTP cockpit. So now I'm using a global account, I'm in a SAP account, and I would like to go to my ABAP system. So I already provided a Steampunk system with system ID dev, and with the help of a service key, I can connect to this development system and implement my app. So this is what I already did. Now I switched with the role of a developer. On partner side, I switched to my local installation of Eclipse together with ABAP development tools, and I'm in the package, an initial package of my app. As I already explained, I'm using an ABAP namespace, and I defined a software component for my app. So what is the purpose of this app? I would like to explain this very shortly. It's just one single maintenance UI to maintain events like this one. For that purpose, I created a database table and also a bit of test data. Here you can find our virtual TechEd this year, and that's all. It's just for the maintenance of events like this one. So with the help of a generator, I can generate all the required objects to create an OData service based on this database table. I could open the preview, but I also skip this one because I even created a tile for my app, and this is my app, and it's just a Fiori Elements UI, and I press the Go button and I see my test data out of this database table. So this is my sample app. Again, very simple. For a partner, it would be really hard to get to earn money with this app, but again, it's just an example. So and now the tricky part. So now, as a partner, I would like to offer this to a customer. So I finished the development, everything works, I already tested this, I implemented unit tests and integration tests, everything is fine. Now I would like to build a product. So, and the next thing what I need to do is, I need to go into the landscape portal. So the landscape portal provides apps in order to simplify the task to build the product. So as an administrator on the partner side, I just need to register my app one time. It's just a one-time effort to provide a name and also to register this product for this global account. And the second thing is I need to define how to build this app. So it's basically a wizard on top of a CI/CD pipeline, but the good thing is I can use a template for different tasks. And one main task is to create a new main release. And here I can define all the different parameters how this build process should work. So I define what is my sub-account where I create the build system where this product should be built. I can also specify how the code is imported into this build system, and very important, I can specify that the ABAP test cockpit should run in order to detect static, in order to do static code checks and detect some findings. So this would, of course, stop the build process. And I can also define parameters for the CI/CD service. And last but not least, I even can configure whether a complete integration test should run, which creates a new system together with an add-on installation. So that's basically it. So I need to define the template parameters, and with these parameters I can just select my product and can create a new main version of my product. So that's it to build a product. So now I have some kind of bundled solution for my app which can be imported. What I missed so far is the option that I'm able to subscribe to this product on a customer side. So now I did everything for multi-tenancy SaaS solution from a partner perspective, but I would like to enable my customers that they can subscribe to it. So and for that purpose, I need to use another wizard-like app in the landscape portal, and this is called maintain solution. And with maintain solution, it's basically the same approach like to build the product. You can define different settings, how the central provider system should be named, and also what is the prefix for the URLs for the different subscriptions. And after the deployment of this product to the BTP cockpit, everything is set up that this app even appears in the marketplace. And this is what I would like to show you now. So now I'm switching to the customer view. The customer view would go into another sub-account. For example, in this one, we call it consumer A, so the first consumer of our product. And here we already subscribed our event app, because the event app can be found in the marketplace. So here's our event app. I can subscribe exactly once per sub-account. I already did it, and now I can call the event app in my central provider system. So I can use it. I will not see the test data because the test data was located in my development system, but not in my new tenant. So and as another customer, for example, customer C, I can also subscribe to this app, and I'm getting another tenant within the same system. And this is very important with regard to the costs, so that the provider system is used for more than one consumer. So here you can see it's the same system, but I use a different Fiori theme to visualize that I'm now in a separate tenant. So with that, I'm basically at the end of my demo. I wanted to show you these different apps as part of the landscape portal, which simplifies the creation of a product by building it and also by doing all these kind of SaaS registry, which enables the app as a visible app in the marketplace to be subscribed by the customers of the partner. All right, so as maybe you also saw in my test data, we have a monthly customer and partner roundtable for Steampunk, and we are providing this kind of information also on a monthly basis with different product news and so on. And there's also more time for Q&A, but we will use the remaining time, 5 minutes, for our Q&A. All right. So, I have different questions. So let me start with the first one. Thanks to Alexander. The question is, can partner solution based on ABAP Cloud be provided through the SAP store? Thank you very much for this question. That's, of course, the ultimate goal, that we offer these products also through the SAP store. So it's not available yet, so this option, but it's on our roadmap. So first of all, what is available even today, I didn't add this to my demo, but it's available today. The second option I explained, so that the customers can install a provisioned product from a partner in their own Steampunk system, but this goes only today through the landscape portal, but without the involvement of SAP store, but we are working on this. So, next question. Thanks to Raphael. Is the name of ABAP products open for free selection, or are there any restrictions? So the name for a built product is as typically for development artifacts. First of all, a technical name where you need to consider the ABAP namespace, but the description and the title of the product is, of course, free. So next question, is the landscape portal replacing the current SAP store procedure? No. So the landscape portal is specifically used in the ABAP environment, and but as I said in this answer to my earlier question, we are working on an integration into the SAP store, but it's not a replacement. All right. Yeah. So we have 2 minutes left, and I can continue with the next question. So the next question is GCTS not used anymore for managing lifecycle? So GCTS, just to explain abbreviation, is Git-based change and transport system. So the Git-based transport management, the answer is it is continuously used in Steampunk. It was used from the day one on. So it is a part of Steampunk. I didn't mention it explicitly as I explained the managed software component app, but GCTS works under the hood of this managed software component app. So the answer is yes, it is used in Steampunk. All right. Last question. So thanks to Tusha. So how has the adoption been for partner multi-tenancy solution from its announcement last year? Also, how has the adoption been on customer side for those solutions? Any metrics around this? Unfortunately, I cannot share concrete numbers, but we had TechEd presentations last year and the year before last year of our partners. So we have a very, very good adoption of this approach, and therefore we are now also going the next step to even support the installation procedure of add-ons into customer systems. All right. So with that, thank you very much for watching this session. I wish you a nice rest of this TechEd, and yeah, stay healthy and take care. Bye bye.